Are you the kind that marries? Do you believe could this be the one? We're heading over there. That's something I like. That appeals to me. You are unique. The setting is you. I feel like I've changed as a person. Listen, I feel like I've matured and the work I've done on myself has enabled me to recognize that I am getting married type. In relation to Chicago, she's a Chicago. And it's a wonderful person. She has always inspired me. She is among the most stunning individuals I ever encountered on Earth. Amazing heart. She's really awesome, dude. I discovered a pattern in what was dubbed love addiction, and my therapist broke it down, it felt like that, of thinking, oh, I'm in love, and this time on the honeymoon that people give it a name. I became dependent on that sensation. You knocked away. All right, let's be truthful. This connection is strange. It's as bizarre as Jennifer Hudson's attire. Okay, I don't choose if she aspires to be Mary Poppins or she is dressed in Russian fashion. Nothing is comparable to them. Not the attire rather than the camera's angle. They are examining or the musical options. Welcome back to Star. The place where the tea never cools is hush, and the drama never goes to sleep. Come on in, since this one is quite hot. Common recently discovered the hard way that the person to portray is not Jennifer Hudson with. The buzz on the internet is due to their relationship, which they just recently made public and has already made headlines, and not for the reasons he had hoped. The streets claim that his wandering gaze may have led him into some difficulties. Additionally, there are allegations that he made a mistake with an unidentified woman. Whoa, Jennifer wasn't present for it either. She allegedly let him have it and snapped on him in the background and creating she was obviously not going to sit around while anyone else was amused by him, according to insiders. She verbally dragged him for filth, and then abruptly end things, dropping him like a hot mic at the conclusion of a performance. Supporters people are already supporting her online, claiming that Jennifer won't allow anyone can play with her time or her heart. Do you have a partner? Thus, the answer is yes. And I'm in a partnership that is among the most stunning individuals I've ever encountered in life. And she is intelligent. She is devoted to God. She has a genuine, grounded aspect to her. She's talented, I guess. However, I raised my bar a bit because she had to possess an e-god. She had to win an Oscar for her debut film. I made Amy typical high. She needed to acquire her own talk show. Oh, I see. Common is currently popular for all the incorrect motivations. The tea is boiling as well, over. Supporters are murmuring that although Jennifer Hudson was fully committed to treating Common, their romance is genuine, was reportedly having fun with City Boy out here, season as if he were unmarried. The individual who is said to be the elegant poet of nowadays, love is referred to as a certified heartbreaker. To be honest, no one ought to be that taken aback. The internet is making fun of stating, a crystal ball wasn't necessary to anticipate this. Common's romantic life has consistently been a highlight reel of women. Public breakups and fleeting relationships, they shook their heads and departed. Thus, when the streets began to talk about him, walking out on Jennifer, it didn't precisely appear out of nowhere. And this is why there is a particularly vociferous pushback. We are referring to Jennifer Hudson. She is more than just gifted. She's in that uncommon EGOT circle. She is an incredible force, a queen, and to be honest, the last person you should make a mistake if you have her in your corner. Online fans are making fun of him, referring to it as next-level disrespect, and claiming that doing her filthy is essentially karma for a future career. Next comes the turn. Haddish, Tiffany. Prior to when Jennifer and Common went public, Tiffany was talking already. She threw cautions and lighthearted jabs regarding the fact that Common wasn't really developed dedication. Let's keep it at 100, though. Tiffany's remarks weren't precisely selfless. She continued to feel things, and it hurt to see him cuddling up to Jennifer. She made fun of social media and laughed in interviews and reminded those she was acquainted with, no one can match this man's designs. Now, the internet looks back at Tiffany, as if she had the crystal ball in her hands. She did, after all, date him. She obtained her bruised heart, and she had been waving the warning signs for those who are open to listening. Tiffany Haddish honestly thought she had her time spent with Common, but how it played out might have been a romantic comedy, became dramatic. Are you the kind that marries? Do you believe could this be the one? We're heading over there. That's something I admire about you. That appeals to me. In this context, you are unique. Similar to I've changed since then. Listen, I feel as though I've developed and the work that I've done on myself has enabled me to I am a marrying type, as you can see. I am the type that, I'm competent. I was capable, and in the future, I would know when I wanted to do that. It's the appropriate moment. Additionally, I think for everything around me is divine. Like I go work from the judgment that God, you can tell when he speaks into your abdomen, and you sense it in your heart and your spirit. Thus, when I sensed that, I would talk to the individual. Additionally, if she is experiencing it, that would be, so why not? The spark initially ignited in 2019 while they were producing the film The Kitchen. Additionally, Tiffany was already capturing emotions in front of the camera 7 ceased to roll. And let's be honest, that is a classic Common. He possesses this history of feeling attracted to women he collaborates with. The sole co-star that we haven't heard any rumors about Queen Latifah. To be honest, even she might have avoided making headlines. From the outset, Tiffany fell quickly. Common was showing up the charm, letting go of that casual conversation for which he is renowned. And it was successful. She left head over heels, imagining that this was her actual opportunity to find love. However, only when it seems to be clicking, typical changed the course of events. He abandoned the speaking stage and immediately returned to his Angela Rye's departure from Tiffany caught off guard. Tiffany was devastated. She believed she had a solid idea, but clearly, Common wasn't in agreement. The majority of people would have accepted the L and kept it going, but Tiffany didn't. She chose to remain on the sidelines, silently awaiting the inevitable. And considering Common's past performance, she must wait a long time. His relationships rarely stick. And true to form, he and Angela fizzled out in weeks. The moment that door cracked open, Common spun the block, and Tiffany didn't hesitate for a second. She was ready, no pretense, no make him work for it, just open arms and a quick yes. Soon enough, they were quarantining together during lockdown, and that's when the world really got confirmation. Tiffany hopped in Instagram Live with Gabriel Yun and Dwayne Wade, and fans clocked Common in the background. Boom. Relationship confirmed. And let's not forget, by this time, Common had a dating history that was basically a celebrity roll call. We are discussing Taraji P. and Serena Williams Henson, Erykah Badu, and more names sprinkled in the mix. Tiffany might have thought she was the exception, but with Common, the streets already knew the pattern. Now here's where things get really telling. If you look at Common's dating history, none of his famous exes are exactly singing his praises. And if anyone proves that point, it's Erykah Badu. Their romance kicked off around 2000 and lasted about 2 years before Erykah decided she was done in late 2002. At first, Erykah kept it classy and didn't spill much about why she ended things. But Common, he couldn't wait to tell his side. He went around painting himself as the distraught victim, alleging the split was all her doing. He even mentioned that she dumped him over the phone when he was on tour. According to him, he sat in a hotel room shocked as she said, "I don't want to be in this relationship anymore." He claims he asked, "Is there someone else?" and said that moment destroyed him because she was his first true love. Common went on to say about how heartbroken he was, describing, "He appeared to be drifting in a fog, hardly able to consume food, and repeating the heartache." He even made a joke about Eric, essentially say, "See you next to him," moment of a lifetime. At first glance, it seemed to be the impoverished, abandoned lover. But finally, Erykah decided she wasn't going to allow him dominate Vestry. She began to give clues, because the narrative wasn't quite as one-sided as he made it look. Without identifying names, she implied that one factor had been infidelity. In an interview, she clarified that she appreciates friendship and loyalty beyond all else, everything else. Additionally, as she recognizes that certain guys require, she needs a companion to chase, absolutely dependable. Translation, typical. Translation, typical. Wasn't quite live up to that. Thus, he was spinning a sob out here. Narrative and giving the impression that she merely developed affections for another person. In actuality, he might have been fans or playing games behind the scenes. Began giving him a serious sidelong glance, recognizing perhaps he was changing the course of events to preserve his own reputation. Additionally, this is the kicker. Following numerous breakups and negative headlines, Common ultimately attempted to repair his reputation. He began to speak about counseling, personal development, and being prepared to improve as a spouse. He even collaborated with a renowned relationship mentor to demonstrate that he was altering his behavior. However, if his past, considering what these recent speculations indicate anything, the internet is unsure. He's really moved past those old tendencies. Your relationship is quite well known. Coach, yes, it is correct. Michelle Obama, she has undoubtedly assisted me in talking to through only specific instances of connections. We spoke with each other and I've learned a lot from her. However, she told me one wonderful thing as I was traveling this path that you must realize you're not will acquire anyone who is flawless, since you're not flawless. Thus recognize that there are certain items that you will give up in selecting that companion. However, as long as the fundamental principles that are the person who matters most to you. If you cross something off the list, then you good. There, she gave you some wise counsel. Some excellent Common's design was clearly visible once more. As soon as Tiffany Haddish began candidly expressing a desire to advance their partnership to the next degree, conversational involvement, and genuine dedication, Common pulled off his classic change things up. For a moment, they appeared to be a lovely couple, but he left the following minute, here, making it abundantly evident to the press that he has no intention of getting married. Radar. I will act in my own best interests and the woman. Yes, at this moment, I just want to be happy and have fun. Peace on the planet. By then, everyone who was paying attention could observe the writing on the wall. Common had already emotionally detached, but Tiffany, poor thing, hadn't realized it yet. She was nevertheless openly supporting their love as he gradually drifted away behind the scenes. Like clockwork, eventually he dropped her just as quickly, while he lifted her. Traditional Common actions. However, this is the section that truly sparks discussion on the internet. Simply similar to what he reportedly did with Erykah Badu, Common changed the course of events to safeguard his picture. Rather than acknowledging that he was finished or that the flame had died, he framed the separation as amicable and reciprocal. Hess stated that they simply had hectic schedules and that they were drawn to life in different ways. Instructions. Fans didn't believe it. Social media quickly recorded the trend, claiming that Common never acknowledges losing love. He simply moves away. It gives the impression of a tranquil departure. After Tiffany and I resumed our travels, it actually prevented us from devote as much time and effort to vitality into our partnership. I believe the affection truly faded. I simply believe that we weren't fostering the partnership. Common may have believed he might slip away from Tiffany's breakup. Haddish appears to be the decent man. Yet Tiffany was not going to overlook that. She changed the course of events and informed her a clear and concise story. Tiffany succeeded, realized Common had abandoned her, cracked, and she didn't sugarcoat it either way. During one interview, she threw shade, grinning, describing him as Abby, hopping between flowers to flower. Translation, he's constantly pursuing the following item. She hoped he joy, but the underlying message was obvious. She was well aware of his movements. And always Tiffany has not changed much since then. Reminders that she is more familiar with Common more than anyone, making her the ideal someone to alert Jennifer Hudson to his track record. Look, Common and Jennifer weren't strangers. They had been relocating, the same groups for years, going to the same business gatherings and crossing routes in the film industry. However, it wasn't until together they shot in Philadelphia, because the spark becomes something more. It began with casual on set, laughter and brief intervals in between scenes. However, toward the end of filming, the murmurs were growing louder. Jennifer attempted to appear innocent, pretending to be the people's minds were filled with rumors. She stated stuff like, "We recently completed filming a film. We ate together. And he played my spouse. That's all. Lunch in between takes." The streets were not duped, and neither were the photographers. Before long, the silence-beginning chemistry leaked into the actual world. They were observed having a casual Malibu meal, appearing much too cozy enough for just pals. Next, Common took a plane to London for Jennifer's musical A's premiere Strang Loop. Supporters said that was the unofficial verification. No guy is transporting a co-star across the ocean unless something genuine is taking place. They made an effort to move smoothly even then. They would travel separately to events in order to avoid making news. But once the cameras were absent, they were always next to each other. Time. Finally, after months of subtly flirting boiling over when Jennifer made a remark about their talk show, she gave him a direct glance. I directly inquired as to whether he was dating anybody. At that point, he struck her with flipping the question with that slick smile back. "Do you have a partner?" The audience went crazy. The video became viral. Suddenly, the Hollywood rumor became known to the general population. Hudson, Jennifer, and Common were formally romantically involved. "I'm in a partnership that is among the most stunning individuals I've ever encountered in life. and she is intelligent. She is devoted to God. She has a genuine, grounded aspect to her. She's talented, I guess. However, I raised my bar a bit because she had to possess an EGOT. She had to win an Oscar for her debut film. I made Amy typical high. She needed to acquire her own talk show. Oh, I see. Thus the fairy tale vibes are present here, began to break. There were rumors circulating that Common and Jennifer Hudson's, the partnership wasn't as ideal as it seemed, how it appeared on Instagram. Whispers regarding the tension that was discovered between the two immediately upon Tiffany Haddish's reappearance with her version of events. Even 2 years following their breakup, Tiffany was still candid about her pain. She referred to it as the most enjoyable and healthy relationship. I was the safest place I've ever been. However, additionally, she clarified that the split was not reciprocated. As said by her, Common men struck her, saying, "I believe the relationship has reached its end." She was limited to saying, "All right, you're going to be a year-old man without a partner then. All right." Initially, the public provided Tiffany the sidelong glance for continuing to speak regarding a long-term relationship concluded, particularly because Common had moved on to a new leading lady already. It was even called obsessive by some fans. However, as the months passed, it began to, I think Tiffany was correct all along. Common wasn't quite the slick, loyal he presented himself as a love poet. According to recent sources, Jennifer Hudson may be the hardest lesson to learn. Manner. The romance is allegedly on unstable terrain. According to insiders, Common has been hinting at a desire to put everything on hold. Long-term marriage, dedication, everything. However, Jennifer is apprehensive. Why? Due to his past is far too complicated for her ease. The T claims that Jennifer, she believes he hasn't been completely devoted. Additionally, with Common's history, those uncertainties are difficult to disregard. Additionally, sources highlight Jennifer's own past relationships as a contributing factor. She is wary. Following her protracted David Otunga's engagement, which terminated in the midst of emotional turmoil and public drama, shevowed that she had no intention of getting married, no longer. That connection, which began in 2007 following a mutual, they were introduced by a friend, who became extremely toxic by the point at when she essentially vanished from the romantic scene up to Common intervened. Thus, while Common is out here stating, "I'm ready for something real," Jennifer is protecting her by moving slowly. Harmony. She is not going to put her heart in danger or her future with a different man who could put her back at the beginning, David. And Jennifer Hudson's romance Otunga got off to a fast start. They met in 2007, clicked right away, and by 2008 they were involved in under a year. Although it was quick, at the time it seemed like a real fairy tale. Two individuals prepared to begin their lives and create a family as a whole. However, life had other plans. In the same year, Jennifer encountered a terrible personal tragedy when she lost several family members in a startling case that rocked her life. In the midst of her sorrow, she also found out she was pregnant. By 2009, she greeted David Jr. and started the lengthy, agonizing healing process and attempting to start over. Regarding the things appeared normal from the outside, but behind the scenes, fissures were appearing. The wedding kept getting delayed by a year. The wedding kept getting delayed by a year. Year after year. In public, the pair stated they were biding their time, particularly with everything hanging over fans on the internet. But Jennifer emotionally began to feel something more profound. Though the picture of the ideal pair didn't quite fit the truth. One red flag folks couldn't overlook, David's claimed insecurity. As Jennifer's star increased, her fashion changed in Hollywood and her self-assurance surged. She began to display on the red carpet with spectacular appearance and a smaller stature, whereas David reportedly liked the more subdued version of her. She even alluded to the strain. During an interview, she was questioned about her fiancé was pleased with her new appearance. "Jennifer, he's adjusting," he remarked, laughing. "Dislikes change and will complain about it and ask, 'Why did you have to dress like that to leave?'" She responded with a clap. The ultimate star move. Since I'm a moving billboard by 2017, the fable had completely unwrapped. After the engagement ended, the split was not at all tidy. Jennifer, someone typically avoids messy situations, Hollywood drama, unexpectedly discovered herself in a crucial split that had the public was fixated on each update. Supporters realized if Jennifer was prepared to accept legally, it takes things to the next level, meant that behind-the-scenes activities were more turbulent than anyone could have predicted. David and Jennifer Hudson's breakup Otunga was a Hollywood storm. Later, she asserted that he totally changed their minds about her after their relationship began to fall apart. calling him an unhelpful spouse and saying, his actions gave her a sense of insecurity and exhausted. Based on information that was leaked from the convoluted court case, Jennifer painted an image of a man who had become excessively domineering and incredibly envious. She stated his allegations regarding her private life no longer made sense at all. It was as if he persuaded himself that each man he wanted her in Hollywood was unable to cope with her success. David's naturally camp gave a hearty clap in return. His attorneys promoted a story that Jennifer's growing notoriety was linked to her flirting in Hollywood, an assertion Jennifer denied everything. She insisted because he was the one who had deceived their relationship, as well as his fears were getting out of hand. According to reports, tension overflowed into co-parenting problems. According to insiders, Jennifer thought he began utilizing their sin in his position of authority, even attempting to monitor her while she was at work, late in the studio. Additionally, there were asserts that he would send disturbing messages when she was at work, which made her nervous. Being cautious, she even requested security to ensure her space remained serene. However, the drama didn't end there. According to her, she was accused of playing mind games at home, always doubting his intentions. A single truly shaking moment was when she said he had left something behind. That seemed frightening in plain sight. Strategy, a reminder of her most agonizing trauma from the past. Considering the trauma she'd already experienced in her family's past, it was like stepping across a line at that moment. David's legal team refuted all of this, claiming that she was making things up to win people over and fabricating the tale to gain publicity disapproval of him. They even stated the thing that worried her was merely a harmless audition prop. Whichever side you support, one thing was evident. By the time that the public's reaction to separation was beyond fix, when this messy breakup end struck the public's attention, it was evident that the fairy tale has long since vanished. Jennifer always mentioned that specific instance, gave her all the information she required. She characterized it as a silent moment, intimidating strategy. She asserted that David didn't need to speak. The manner he moved and the energy he emitted was intended to cause her mental distress. David, as well as naturally, his legal team refuted every just one accusation. They said that he had never harassed or caused violence Jennifer or their son, and charged her with attempting to win over the public's compassion. In court documents, they contended that she was merely attempting to gain the advantage in their custody dispute, while he was advocating for their child's residential care. The attorney went so far as to suggest that David had been attempting to reach a cooperative parenting strategy from the beginning. Whichever side you think, it's obvious. That in high school, the relationship was chaotic. Definition. Additionally, the entire chapter is, why does Jennifer move with such caution? In her current romantic life, she's already experienced public drama, grief, and betrayed confidence. And she's not going to repeat the same error repeatedly. Thus, when the streets began to hum with that familiar, purportedly made a mistake and then attempted to, people make proposals as if nothing had happened, knew why Jennifer might be relocating? Cautiously. Online fans are yelling, "Girl, keep your guard up." They've observed his style. The charismatic speaker who appears solid initially, but possibly not as steady as he appears. Jennifer Hudson is a powerful, conceited, and intelligent woman who is capable of defending her harmony. Additionally, in 2024, the internet is maintaining both eyes as well as possibly a third in this circumstance to observe what happens next. Will she permanently leave? Or will Comet be able to demonstrate that he is truly in it in the long run? Time alone will tell. Now, my hushers and stars, I need to hear your thoughts. Is it time to give Comet another chance? For her to move on from him, mirror permanently? Put your ideas in the remarks that follow. Smash that like, click the icon, and sign up for Star Hush so you don't miss Hollywood's next big thing. I'll see you in the next one. Hushers and stars, continue to shine and remain drinking.